So I'm trying something a little different today. The weather's finally nice. It feels like it's been raining for 6 months. Um, but I'm out for a little hike. I've got the Einstar Vega 3D scanner with me, and I'm gonna see if I can capture some scans in nature. My ultimate goal today is to find a really cool tree trunk that I can scan all the way around so that I can bring it into the computer and turn it into a pen holder or something like that. Any other scans that I think are cool that I find will just be a bonus. So let's see if we can find the perfect tree. So I've always heard when you come to a fork in the road, you take it. So that's what I'm going to do. So when it comes to a tree, what I'm looking for is something that kind of flows out into the ground with some very pronounced roots coming out of it. I think that's going to be really cool. Kind of like a flared shape. So that's what I'm looking for. Let's see if I can find it. So I might keep looking, but this is a good safety. This tree, a lot of texture on the bark, flares out like I want it to. So I think I'm gonna scan this one now, and if I don't find anything better, this will be the one. Okay, we've got a full battery. We're in fast scan mode, which is what we want to do for larger objects. I think we're ready to scan. The light is perfect for this because it's overcast and it's just capturing beautifully. Almost done with my first pass, and then I'm going to go back around and do another sweep to get any missing data. Well, that's the first time we lost tracking since we started this tree. Yeah, there we go. Back on target. I'm going up way higher than I want or need to. That way I have good data down further and I can cut it off up a little higher. So when you're using the scanner, what you want to do if you're using the data quality indicator overlay is you want to just keep painting your subject until you get as much green as possible, because that means complete data, whereas red is incomplete data. And there we go. We got a really complete data set of that trunk. That's a pretty full point cloud. Awesome. This was pretty exact to what I was looking for as far as aesthetic goes. And the scan went great. So I scored on that one. That's a good looking tree. That's aesthetically what I was looking for, but I haven't been here that long, so I'm going to wander around some more, see if I can find any other interesting trees, anything else interesting that I can scan, and then we'll head back to the shop and see if we can turn this tree into something cool. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can see the lake off in the distance down through the trees. Hey, we made it down to the lake. So I'm almost back to the start of the hike, and so far nothing else has jumped out to me. And that's not because there's nothing beautiful. There's just too much cool looking stuff that I can't just hone in on one thing. There's too many awesome distractions. I wish you guys could smell how good it smells out here. But yeah, I'm just about back to where I parked. We'll see if there's any last minute things before I head back to the shop to start working on this tree trunk. Ideally, what I'd like to find is like a branch, a dead branch coming off of a tree, kind of like a 45-degree angle. It's kind of cracked and cool looking, but at a height that I can actually scan it. I've seen plenty of them, but they've all been 10, 15 feet in the air and can't really get at them. So hopefully I can find one of those before I call it a day. It's not a stick coming off a tree like I was looking for, but this is cool and has a lot of texture to it. Maybe I'll scan the end of this. Not bad. Sure we'll be able to do something cool with it. All right, I gotta try and get one more thing. And there it is, you can actually see that red. That's cool. Maybe something like this one for my last scan. That's kind of fun. Got it. All right, I think that's it. I got 3 good scans. Let's head back to the shop and see what we can do with them. All right, just got back to the shop. I want to get those files loaded into StarVision, and at the very least, I want to turn that tree trunk into a pen holder. And then we'll see what we can do with the other couple files I got and go from there. So let's get those files loaded and start playing. All right, so we have our tree loaded in StarVision. Give it a quick orbit here. So first thing we need to do is we'll remove some unnecessary stuff. So I already know I want to shorten it a bit. So grab my cropping tool. We'll just grab the box and it'll go right there. Okay. We don't need these leaves here. And I'm just going to snip through these little by little. Make sure I don't remove any of the roots from the bottom, because I want them. All right, let's see. So we can get rid of this. And I'm just going to speed through this because cleaning up this tree isn't really the point of this video. All right, so now we got our trim done. Let's do some mesh creation. So we want it watertight. We want the texture mapped. And we'll remove minor floating parts. And let's preview it. All right, and we're back. And we've got our texture mapped. Our things all closed up. We got a bulbous bottom. We're gonna have to chop that off, but that's all right. So what I'll do is I'll reset to the front view, or any view really. Yeah, I'll go to the front view. I will tell it to finish that first, because I'm happy with that. Then we will go to the cropping tool again, grab our box, hold the shift key if you're on PC, and let's just lop off this bottom, which will open it back up, which is fine, because we're going to, all right, I actually don't love the way that did that. So let's look at it from that side. Alright, we'll grab it from this point. Take off more than I want to, but we need a flat bottom. Alright, don't like that either. So I'm going to do it from here. There we go. I'm happy with that. Alright, so now that it's opened back up again, we need to first commit our crops. Then we need to what do I need to do? I'm just distracted here. Alright, we need to go to mesh edit. We'll fill holes. Slide it till that goes green. We want to choose flat and then preview it. And that's better. Okay. That's one downfall, is it closed this up, which I don't want, but we can fix that. So I'll zoom in a little bit. Go back to the cropping tool. We'll select the lasso. And we're going to slowly and deliberately draw. I don't know how I'm doing so well because I usually have shaky hands. All right. Make sure it didn't open any new holes. It didn't. All right, that looks great. All right. So, for all intents and purposes, we are done in StarVision. Just want to orbit around this again. All right, we're good. Let's commit that crop and let's export this as a STL. And now I'm going to do the same thing for the other two items I scanned today, and then we'll hop over to Bambu Studio first, because I'll show you how you can add a recess in this in Bambu Studio, and we'll also do it in Fusion. Alright, now that we have those files prepped and finished in StarVision, we're going to jump over to Bambu Studio and see if we can turn that tree trunk into a pen holder. I don't think I'm going to do anything with the other files for now, but I wanted to get them processed anyway. So let's pull in our tree trunk. And it's going to come in actual size, which is very large, so we need to scale it down to a manageable size. So we'll bring it down to like 150 millimeters. That's still quite large, so let's bring it down to 50. Probably a little too small. That's like 2 inches tall. So let's go 75. There we go. That's probably better. All right, so we've got our tree trunk in here. Not exactly sitting flat on the build plate, which is all right. We'll fix that. And we're going to do that by selecting our model and hitting lay on face. There we go. And now let's bring in a cylinder by right-clicking, hitting add modifier cylinder.
And we'll scale it up. All right, so this will give us just a very basic cutout from our tree trunk. So we got that. So now to remove that, we'll hit the mesh boolean. We'll do a difference. We'll subtract from the tree with the cylinder. We'll delete our input cylinder. And for all intents and purposes, we have a tree trunk that can hold pens. I did realize I just cut out a little too much there and it removed part from it, so we're going to fix that. And we still have a little punch out there, but nothing too major. I think I can live with it. We'll call that an aesthetic choice. And there we go. We have our pen holder with a natural little opening in the tree. Before I print this, I'm going to hop over to Fusion and we'll show you how you could do something like this in Fusion with maybe a little bit more control. All right, now we'll insert a mesh. First thing I would do is construct an offset plane. Offset from this, kind of guesstimate where we want it, right around there. And then I would create a sketch on here. And now we could take our circle tool and if I wanted to get a little bit more of an oval shape to it, I might do something like this. All right, it's not super pretty, but you'll get the point. We get rid of some of these lines. Okay, that works for me. So now what I would do is extrude that down. Say about that much, and got to get an idea where it's at by hiding our body. It's not coming through the bottom. That's a good thing. Hit OK. And now to make this so that we can subtract it from this mesh, we will go over to the mesh tab. We'll hide our tree trunk. We will tessellate this shape to turn it into a mesh. We'll turn our tree back on, and then we will do a modify combine. So our target body is the tree, our tool body is this cylinder we created. We're going to do a cut. And hit OK. All right, and it's done. So more or less the same thing as what we had over on Bambu. All right, so I'm getting tired and I need to print this thing. So through the magic of editing, this thing is going to be printed, and I'm going to show you the finished results. So let's get this thing printed. Just got up a little bit ago. Let's check on this print and see how it turned out. Oh, That turned out awesome. Whoa, that's cool.
Well, this turned out better than I ever could have imagined. Super happy with the results, and it gives me a lot of inspiration for future nature-related 3D scan and 3D printing projects. If you want to download this pen holder for yourself, I'm going to throw it on my Patreon under the free tier. Download it, use it, enjoy it. And if you want the 3D scan files and the other related files to make your own projects with, I'm going to have them in a higher tier. If you do end up going with those, I'd love to hear what you do with the files, so let me know in the comments. And that is it for now. I'll see you guys in the next one.